Please welcome to the program, Sarah Brightman. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good.
Taking this. How's things?
Everything's great.
You're back with a record.
Yes, I'm a little bit tired. I've had 2 hours sleep, so you'll have to bear with me.
So, if we combine our sleep, it's 4 hours. Why don't we just not try to sound rested? Why don't we see where it goes by exploiting how tired?
Exactly.
I mean, when you're exhausted, you can get into quite a dreamy space.
Yes, you definitely can.
Which might work for
it's
this
a good
record.
Place, very relaxed, so.
It's a far cry from the first, if you think about European folk songs and all that to where we are now. You're basically painting these epic space journeys with your songs.
I'm glad you see it that way, because it was amazing making this album. We had to create a beautiful soundscape that sounded very epic and very universal and explained the stars and our feelings about the universe and planetary things. And it was beautiful. I was able to, I just had a great palette to work from.
And why did you want to go there? Why did you think you had to tell that kind of story?
Well, really, since I was a little girl and growing up through the 60s, sort of saying my age now, space and the universe and science was extremely relevant at that time. And, the idea of space exploration, I really, really hope it's for everybody in the future, grandchildren and onwards, because I think it's very important for us as human beings to explore. We have been exploring really since we can remember, across oceans, then into aviation and across the globe. And I think it's the next frontier, really.
It is the only thing, yes, I agree with you, if we presuppose that people do wonderful things when they explore. But what we have learned from humanity is often the ones at the forefront of exploration have kind of messed it up for the people that were already there.
Yes.
If the beautiful kids that were daydreaming about this exploration were the ones that were landing on Plymouth Rock, it would be better. But that's not how it worked, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, the whole journey of this has been beautiful, and the fact that I may be taking this journey just up to the space station
is a beautiful thing. The story is you dished out a lot of coin to secure a seat to fly into space.
A part of it. I'm getting a lot of help.
You are? Okay.
I'm getting a lot of help, yes. And I'm lucky in that way. I mean, going through all the medicals I did and training I did, it actually really challenged me as a human being as to what, I could deal with. And there were many parallels to what I went through to my touring life.
Now, how pissed off is Richard Branson going to be if you go up with the Russians first? Because you've got Virgin Galactic, and then you've got the Russians.
How did you know I was going on Virgin Galactic?
I know this. I know these things.
Oh, that was great. When I found out that suborbital flights were possible, that was an amazing feeling, and I signed up quite a way back.
Now, I get uncomfortable when I get on a Russian plane.
How can you say that? They're all new now.
When I've been on Russian planes, when I see them, it's been the older planes in Africa. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to get on this plane. But to go to space, you're confident.
Absolutely, the Soyuz has an amazing record, and
you go to the space station, right?
Yes, 8 to 10 days. It takes 2 days to get up there. It takes not very long to get into orbit, but then they have to catch up with the space station.
Will you carry one of those kind of sleeping pillows, or will you bring your own?
You're very funny.
No, man, travel can suck.
Yes, it can.
Wait, it takes 2 days. You're saying 2 days?
2 days, and apparently what I've been told by the cosmonauts, that's actually the most beautiful time, because they've been training together, but it's just a wonderful time, especially for the first time going up.
For a little girl that was practicing and dancing at 2 and 3 years old, you were 3 or something when you started?
Yes.
Could you ever have imagined that your life would have turned into this?
I had a lot of confidence.
Where did it come from?
I don't know. I love life. I have a huge passion for what I do and for things I get involved in. And I think there's a huge amount of hope in all things. I tend to be very optimistic about things, and people around that I hang out with and love, they're very optimistic as well. So that inspires a lot of confidence in a person.
There was tragedy in your life as you got older.
Yes. My father committed suicide, and it was an incredibly, as you can imagine, traumatic time in our family. But I did understand that it was his decision to do what he did, and it was terrible. But we all got through it, and he lives in me every day. And actually, I gain a lot of strength by the thought of him.
When that happens, it can tear a family apart.
It can.
Who were in the family? Who kept everybody together?
We all did. We're all incredibly close. And I have an amazing mother, and she's incredibly practical. She's very beautiful. I mean, she's older now, and I suppose it was all of us. We helped each other and got through it.
What did cats mean to you?
Cats?
Yeah.
Well, I needed a job at that time. I'd had a little record company called Whisper Records way back, and I'd had my Starship Trooper and all the things that happened around that time. Then that stopped. It wasn't working anymore.
The picture of you is amazing. Let's go back.
Yes. And I went for this audition that I saw in a newspaper, and I thought, well, I've been trained as a dancer, singer, actress. I'm going to go for this. And actually, Andrew was there, and he said, why are you here? Where's your agent? I said, well, I don't have one. This is an open audition. Of course, being Andrew Lloyd Webber. Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, well, this is great. Come to my house tomorrow and you know, come and sing for me and we'll talk.
Look at this picture.
Yes.
What do you remember from that day?
I just got married that day, and nobody knew about it except the Queen. And that's the truth.
Really?
Yes.
So you were married to Andrew Lloyd Webber that day, and,
Yes.
and so how did the Queen find out? Could she just see it in your eyes? Is she that powerful?
I think she was told. So I was introduced as Andrew's wife, and then stuff came out in the press. That's what happened.
Now, what did she say?
And that's just the truth.
Are you saying your first wedding congratulations was from the Queen of England?
Yes, I think she did. She shook my hand and said, congratulations, it's very nice to meet you.
That is so bizarre.
I know, isn't that great? I'd forgotten about that, yes.
So when you said you met with Andrew and it went well, you didn't just get to meet him, you got to marry the guy. You guys both had a great relationship. When Andrew was on our program, he talked about you glowingly. You never know what you're going to get with exes.
No, you don't. You're right. He's great.
You never know. So, but you guys have been able to still work and have a great relationship.
He's great.
Yeah?
He's a lovely, lovely man. It was a bit tense when we got divorced, I have to say. And that was more to do with the press than what we were going through. But it was one of those beautiful relationships that it kind of had its end, and we both knew it. We'd sort of grown apart from each other. I think a lot of it had to do because we were working together, and we both loved our careers, and I think he felt for me that I'm very free spirit, and marriage hasn't necessarily agreed with the way that I am. I don't like to stay, you know, in one place. I love to travel. I'm explorative as a soul, as a person.
Right.
And I think he felt that in many ways he needed to just set me free, and he moved on, and I did. But he's a lovely guy. I'm incredibly talented.
What a pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Sarah Brightman, everybody.